All right, Sandra, let's bring in Wyoming Republican Senator John Barrasso. He sits on the Foreign Relations Committee. You were there for the Zelensky speech this morning. His three big asks were no-fly zone, which we pretty much ruled out, S-300 missile systems, which the president seemed to allude to there when he said we'll help them acquire other systems, and the MiGs, which the president didn't even want to talk about. Your thoughts about what the president just said?
First, President Zelensky, a man of great courage and well received by Congress, bipartisan in the Senate and the House this morning. In terms of remember Winston Churchill, who said, give us the tools, we will finish the job. Zelensky knows what he's asking for. He needs the MiGs. We have a bipartisan group that says, give this man the airplanes that he needs. He needs the sky to be protected. Joe Biden's been slow on that. To me, they're a game changer. All the way through this whole process, President Biden has been either had to be pushed or prodded or pulled across the line. Even this package today that he just signed, $800 million added to $200 million from last week. The Congress passed $13.6 billion in aid last week. He's coming up with $1 billion, with 7% of the money. We need to do more. We need it now. The president's talking the days or the weeks ahead. I know he's going to Europe next week. We need the action now. These people are being slaughtered. They need help today. We have another group of senators heading to Europe and heading to Poland this weekend to try to help move along things there. Zelensky needs the planes. We ought to give it to them. Putin says, well, you do this, you do that, it's going to be an act of war. He said that with sanctions. He said that with javelins. He said that with stingers. One thing after another, we need to give him the planes.
Right. I think Sandra's going to jump in here from New York. Sandra?
Oh, I'm so sorry, Senator. Senator, I'm talking to Charles here about what is next on the energy front with this war. But, Senator, to that point, obviously, as Trey Yingst just said, as we work our way into the evening hours there, we will certainly have to wait and see how Vladimir Putin perceives the president's words just now, obviously also taking in Volodymyr Zelensky's words to the U.S. Congress this morning. Obviously, this is quite the defining moment in all of this, and we will learn a lot about how Putin plans to respond based on the U.S.'s most recent actions.
Well, we will. And to your point, you just talked about energy. Look, energy is the key to this. Energy is the master resource, and we become much more dependent on Russian oil than we should ever have become in the United States, where we're hitting inflation numbers, which are incredible, 40-year high. We need to be energy independent, energy dominant, and global climate change is not the biggest threat that we face in this world, in spite of what the administration may think. We need to be energy independent. We need to be producing American energy now.
Senator, let me come back to something that you said just a second ago, and that was that Putin has threatened escalation at many different points along the way here. And he has even reiterated Russian military doctrine from the early 2000s, which he was the one who signed, which would indicate the use of tactical nuclear weapons if Russia really gets pushed into a corner here. But he hasn't made good on any of those threats that he's issued so far. I mean, he's issued some sanctions against Joe Biden and other American officials, which really don't amount to a hill of beans. But do you think that we could push him a little further without him actually pulling the trigger on escalation? And if we do, what would that look like?
Well, I think the next thing to do is the MiGs. The Ukrainians know how to fly them. We need to give them things they can use. We're not going to send our own troops to patrol the skies over Ukraine. NATO's not going to do that. We need to give Zelensky everything he needs. I met with him in his office in Ukraine not that long ago, and he's committed. He is a courageous figure. He has the country united behind him, and I think we need to give him everything that he asks for to actually do the job and fight back the Russians.
One thing we were talking about while the president was speaking was what is the end game here? If we give Zelensky everything that he is asking for, can he turn back the Russian military? Can he turn back Vladimir Putin? Or does he just extend the inevitable at tremendous cost to Ukraine?
Well, it's hard to predict. I think, the military experts, the people that try to figure out this really don't know for sure. But Putin, I think, has been taken by surprise by all of this, by the fact that the troops didn't get in there. And, I thought by now Putin thought he would be in Kyiv giving a statement in front of Parliament. Look at me, I'm the great conqueror. He's not. He is surprised by this, but we're seeing more and more cruelty on his behalf. The problem is he does have nuclear weapons. That is always a threat. I don't believe he'll use them. I think we ought to give them the MiGs. And that's a decision for the president to ultimately make. But I think the president has been very slow on sanctions, on oil. Sanctions should have been there before this ever started.
Yeah, and as you pointed out, he's giving $1 billion in assistance to Ukraine. There's still $12.9 billion on the table.
We did. We passed it last week.
Senator John Barrasso, good to have you in today. Thanks for staying with us.
Thanks, John.